All right, let's dive right into what I think is one of the most fascinating and frankly urgent paradoxes in our modern economy. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking a phenomenon that's fundamentally reshaping the business landscape right under our feet. We call it the AI layoff trap. You know, we hear constantly about artificial intelligence making companies lean and efficient, but there's this massive hidden structural flaw in how competitive markets are actually adopting this tech. It's a flaw that literally threatens to erode the entire foundation of consumer demand. So let's dig into the research and see what's really going on. Just to wrap our heads around the sheer scale here, in 2025 alone, U.S. employers announced over 1 million job cuts, and roughly 55,000 of those explicitly cited artificial intelligence as the direct cause. And let's be real, that's just the tip of the spear. It's a wave led largely by tech firms, zeroing in on customer support, middle management, and content moderation. We are not just theorizing about some distant future of job displacement anymore. We are actively living through its acceleration right now. And the mindset driving these numbers at the executive level, it's honestly a bit chilling. Back in early 2026, the fintech giant Block cut nearly half of its 10,000-person workforce. CEO Jack Dorsey bluntly stated that AI had made those roles completely unnecessary, and then he dropped this prediction. Within the next year, the majority of companies will reach the same conclusion. The people at the very top, they see this as a totally inevitable, irreversible shift. But this brings us to a massive existential mystery. If the economic cliff ahead is so perfectly visible to everyone, why on earth are we racing toward it? Think about it. Rational companies know that human workers are also consumers. If you replace humans with AI, you destroy the wage income that fuels the exact consumer spending your business ultimately relies on. So if they can see this cliff, this dystopian world with boundless productivity but zero consumer demand, why can't they just stop themselves? Section 1. Displaced workers are lost consumers. To solve this mystery, we have to recognize just how deeply interconnected our macroeconomy really is. We tend to view a layoff as this isolated event for one single company, right? But here's the vicious cycle actually in motion. Step 1. A firm automates tasks to save on labor. Step 2. Human workers lose their jobs. Step 3 is where the contagion spreads. That laid-off copywriter or middle manager, they immediately stop buying $6 lattes. They cancel Netflix. They put off buying a new car. They halt their kitchen renovation. Step 4, all those other businesses, retail, entertainment, automotive, they lose revenue, which sparks their own layoffs. It's this massive domino effect where a quest for efficiency at one single tech firm actively destroys demand across nearly every other sector of the economy. Economists actually have a specific term for the engine of this trap, a demand externality. When a company swaps a worker for an AI, they get to capture 100% of those sweet cost savings. But the economic damage, that lost consumer spending we just tracked, that gets diluted. The automating firm only feels a tiny fraction of the resulting demand destruction themselves. The rest of the pain is completely offloaded onto their competitors and totally different industries. Because they don't feel the full cost of their own actions, everyone is essentially trapped in this destructive cycle of over-automation. Section 2. The prisoner's dilemma of AI. This is where game theory absolutely traps these companies. Imagine you're a CEO. On one side, you have private cost savings. If you bravely decide not to automate to, protect the broader economy, you just miss out on massive operational savings. But on the other side, you have public demand loss. Because your competitors are automating, overall consumer demand is going to shrink anyway. So if you hold back, you still lose your customers, but now your operating costs are way higher than your rivals. Restraint actually hurts you. You are literally forced to automate just to survive the demand crash that you and your competitors are collectively causing. When researchers ran the numbers on this, the data revealed something incredibly counterintuitive. You might think competition would fix this, but no. The more competitive and fragmented a market is, the deeper the over-automation trap gets. The data clearly shows the gap widening as the number of competing firms increases. Think about it. A total monopoly would internalize all that demand loss and actually automate pretty efficiently. But in a highly competitive market, the dilution of the damage pushes everyone to aggressively over-automate. Now, I want to be super clear about something. This isn't just your standard story about workers losing out while billionaires line their pockets. The research highlights a massive deadweight loss. Collective displacement eventually erodes aggregate consumer demand so much that the overall profits of the firms themselves drop below what they could have been if everyone just cooperated. Over-automation isn't just a wealth transfer from workers to owners. It's actively harming both sides. The pie isn't just being sliced differently, the whole pie is shrinking. And, we can try to mitigate this, but the math is completely unforgiving. The numbers show exactly what happens when displaced workers find new roles or get some form of income replacement. Sure, as that income replacement rate goes up, the over-automation gap narrows. If folks get new jobs quickly, the demand destruction softens. But the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that the trap only truly disappears if income recovery hits 100%. Anything less than that, the systemic bleed of consumer spending just continues to drag down the entire interconnected economy. Section 3, Evaluating Proposed Policy Solutions. So what do? Well, when we test our usual go-to policy toolbox against this exact mathematical trap, the results are pretty bleak. Let's look at Universal Basic Income, or UBI. Does it alter a company's margin to automate? No. Does it fix the externality? No. What about giving workers equity in the companies? That alters the margin, sure, but only partially fixes the externality. Same story for upskilling. These are basically band-aids. They might prop up the baseline standard of living for a bit, but they completely fail to eliminate the underlying mathematical incentive for a business to swap a human for a machine. And the reason these so-called common sense fixes break down is really simple. They're treating the symptoms, not the disease. UBI shifts baseline demand by handing everyone a check, but it doesn't change the fact that a company saves money on the margin by firing someone. Profit sharing is fantastic, but it can't capture the consumer demand that leaks over to rival firms. And private bargaining, like companies formally agreeing not to use AI, that fails instantly because AI adoption is a dominant strategy. Cheating on that agreement is always going to be more profitable for the individual firm. Section 4, the tax that saves us. So what actually works? The economic modeling points to one real structural cure to break this dilemma: the Pigouvian automation tax. Basically, it's a per-task levy set exactly equal to the uninternalized demand loss that a company imposes on its rivals. In plain English, this tax forces a company to feel the exact financial pain they're causing the broader interconnected economy. If laying off a worker destroys $100 of circulating economic demand, the firm gets taxed exactly $100. It perfectly realigns private incentives with social costs, and it instantly hits the brakes on this race to the cliff. And a well-designed Pigouvian tax does double duty, which is brilliant. First, it corrects the over-automation margin right away. The math shifts so firms only automate when it's genuinely, truly efficient for the whole economy. Second, it generates massive revenue that can fund direct transfers, giving displaced workers a short-term cushion. But more importantly, it funds the long-term cure: aggressive retraining programs to get people back into high-paying roles. And the absolute best part? It's totally self-limiting. As workers get reabsorbed into the economy and wage income rises, that demand destruction shrinks, which means the required tax naturally shrinks right along with it. Because at the end of the day, our economy is this highly interconnected organism. Every single job lost to AI isn't just a personal tragedy for that worker. It is a direct hit to the consumer spending power that sustains your job, your business, and our entire society. So the real question we have to answer is this: are we going to address the competitive incentives driving this AI arms race at their root? Or are we just going to try and manage the aftermath when the consumers are finally gone? It is a massive challenge, but understanding these underlying mechanics is the very first step toward actually finding a sustainable path forward.